What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part lucky number 13 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Skulltaker Immortal Empires campaign. I guess really lucky number 13 was episode 8, but anyway. So as we saw last time, we continued taking out the Southern Chaos Waste, though we won't be here for much longer, as we'll probably want to raise one more Blood Host here at the Castle of Splendor to grab the Altar of Facades and Crucible of Delights, but on the same turn teleport away and head on to Ulthuan. There's just so many armies sitting around here. There's skulls just waiting to be taken. So that's what Skulltaker will do. And in terms of what we got to do this turn before we get to that, I don't think that there's much. Scarlet Hunters, you guys will need to move as we're trying to get to the Lost Palace here. And oh, you can't even move. All right, so the two of you will move towards the place together. Alright, I assume there's nothing else either of you needs to do. You don't need to go into raiding, you can wait. Alright, anybody else? And we have the Terror Masters, the Red Harvesters, and the Skull Hounds. Alright, so who are you guys? You Terror Masters, just sit, wait, you're giving us a vision of this, and we certainly needed it. Red Harvesters and the Skull Hounds. You're where you're supposed to be. Keep on raiding these guys and annoying them, and that's that. Or it's almost that. And one other thing I wanted to do, since I can't think of another good use for this thing, we're going to use it here. The Call of Battle, which raises a target settlement. Just because we've been kind of screwing with Kairos, we're going to screw with him a little bit more. He's sitting in Dawn's Light and attempting to whatchamacallit, recruit. So we're going to Call of Battle and raise Dawn's Light, which should prevent him from recruiting. And I know that this still has the symbol, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to, cross those out, and he's actually not going to be able to. And then, perhaps, since I also can't think of a particularly good reason to get Khorne's Glare elsewhere, unless we use it up in Ulthuan, if we don't use it up in Ulthuan, we will pop it here while these two land right through a port, which makes sense to me. Although I've never tried landing in a coastal settlement that doesn't have the port building completed. Can it still function like a port? Does anybody know? Or do you actually need the building constructed? Because obviously it'll start as non-existing, I assume. But anyway, I believe that's all we gotta do this turn, so Skulltaker, get ready. You're going to the Castle of Splendor next. Not gonna be so splendid for so long. Alright, skip unassigned skill points. Skip on building upgrade, low funds. Well, they're low. I wouldn't say they're tragically low. Resolve this or skip this notification to end the turn. I mean, they're low, but they're not like attrition low. Oh, or are they? Maybe because we're recruiting a bunch of stuff, they will become attrition. Alright, just cancel something cheap. But also something I won't forget. Let's do the wine thing. It's going to be 3 turns building it, and yeah, okay, that should do it. It's going to be 3 turns building it, and these guys will be gone by then anyway, so... Well, let's see what the AI's got for us. Alright, 1000 Mazu. I really hope that the High Elves don't move away from that location, because we really want them there. Rapturous Excess. Abyssa now wants peace. I mean, I guess she didn't want war, but it's a little bit late for that. And what is it that you don't understand about Hates Solana? Anyway, the Scarlet Reavers. It's weird seeing a Blood Host with the Constructor trait. Chaos Steed for Valgar Ovison, who I believe is moving to join Arbaal. Doing that whole undefeated thing. Alright, and speaking of Arbaal... yes. Monolith of Bubonicus, you're in range. You do need to build up some stuff, but you're, well, you're getting there. Alright, Skulltaker, we'll start with you. You need to... he's just out of range of the Castle of Splendor, which ain't great. And we're going to have to bump his movement rate up or range up. So go here. We're still starting with you, sir. And we're definitely running out of money, so we need to be careful. Alright, Half-Deer Nightbane, and the rest of you guys. I mean, technically speaking, you're all gonna move. You're still waiting for 2 cultists, one of which I think was built, but probably won't be able to reach you here. I probably should have preemptively sent them out to sea, but all good. I mean, I guess we could just move down here and have you join them, but frankly, this army is liable to take a decent amount of damage from whatever it fights, so I think what we'll do with this army is we will send it up north, and have it kill off these guys. Speaking of these guys, this is a good way That's a good way to reset Skulltaker's movement. Let's do Glamour Weaver Akka here. There's only room for one Akka in my campaigns anyway. And that's Akka the Wandering Wield. You are not at war with anybody. Well, you're about to be. Declare war.
Even Ariel could not.
Alright, then Skullhounds are going to strike at Hag Hall, and we'll have the Red Harvesters reinforced. We'll want to move far enough away from these guys so as to not waste their defeat trade on you. Move here. And away you go. Alright, well, we still shouldn't have taken anywhere near this kind of damage to this stuff. And yeah, sure, they have the Wild Riders, which would have severely damaged whatever thing they charged into, but, I mean, every single unit lost, like, 15% of their number, which is silly. The auto-resolve, I think the auto-resolve sort of bumps up the effectiveness of Wood Elf outposts, because they're kind of meh, so that's why. But anyway, we are going to sack it. Not so much because of, well, actually, yes, because of the money, but also, ooh, free Khorne mutant, but also because we want to occupy Hag Hall, because it is a walled settlement, right? Yeah, or it will be. All right, and we'll also build this cultist camp up. Now, where do we send you? I mean, technically to the Vol's End. Well, you know what? Let's stay here for a turn. I'm gonna say don't go into ambush because we don't want the Sisters of Twilight moving towards you. Similar thing for you, Wrathful Feasters, to move you slightly away to the Plane of Spiders here, wherein the enemy cannot reach you, and then you can just sit there. All right, that should have reset Skulltaker's movement range. Skulltaker, you are going to... Right, that's a lot of sack value, but we gotta raise a blood host. Auto resolve this for obvious reasons, and then blood for the blood god. All right, we got got blood crushers and a bloodthirster, and no skull cannons, unfortunately, but that's a pretty solid stack. That's without the bonus soul grinder, but yeah. Then we're gonna have you move all the way out here. And Karanak, you know, some of you guys have pointed out, several people have pointed out in the last episode, that what I should have done is instead of having Karanak travel for like 10 turns to get to where he needs to be, you should pop him into Skulltaker's army and just take him with us. But what you all didn't think of is that I had a very, very good reason for doing this. I didn't think of it. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna pop the doggo into Skulltaker's army. And the other real reason is that I get attached to units that have been with us since the very start, and I didn't really want to delete one of the blood letters, but well, what can you do? No choice in the matter. In fact, we can do it right now. All of you combine into one. All right. That's one less blood letter. We're gonna replace them with the exalted ones. I was gonna pop them into a different army just so that they could survive, but anyway. You can't reach Skulltaker. Well, that's interesting. We're going to have to then... Got new cultists available, but not ones we like. We are going to have to get his... Okay, well, Arbaal, I believe that's you. Always hunt. Is this possible? Is this a bad idea? I mean, does it really matter if the Crimson Beasts die? We could also reset movement and save Arbaal's movement resetting for more movement. I'm kind of tempted to try this. At least try. Yao Ming, eh? Yeah, the main problem here as well, okay, without even knowing what's in his army, you know what, let's check what's in his army. You're at war with these guys, right? Alright, we're gonna join your war against the western provinces for, also just fairly cheap. Anyway, not right now. We will join your war against the western provinces. We were always going to declare war on the western provinces. Frankly, we still want Jiao Ming's defeat trait, so we don't want him to lose, die, etc. Join war. And let's see if this works. Alright, what's in your army, sir? Oh, wait. I saw we got that Khorne mutant. We should probably pop that into... it doesn't really matter. Just give it to any hero. You, Sigwolf. Ancillaries, Khorne mutant. That was the only one we had, spare, right? Yeah. And gotta keep pumping up those Khornate mutants. We haven't had the chance to, to get Scarby confederated in the same, anywhere near the same level as Arbaal. Looks like Arbaal was having a much less good time than Scarby is. Scarby's doing really good. I've seen Scarby do well a couple of times, but probably not this well. I think maybe what happened was that somebody heavily damaged Cetra or Khemri, and then this allowed the exiles to essentially pick up where he left off. Unfortunately, Volkmar is dead as well. I wanted his defeat rate as well. So it's +3/+3 melee attack and defense, I think, for melee infantry, unless I'm mistaken, which would have really helped Scarby out for the additional melee defense for the Bloodletters, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, this. I want to try this. What do we have? Close defeat, casualties high, march stance, eh? I'd say we have a reasonable chance. Okay, I think we can kill the army itself without too much problems. The issue is going to be Jiao Ming. Once he transforms into dragon form, I don't know that we can take him. Oh, he even has a frickin' Talisman of Preservation. All of his items. I don't know. Give it a shot. Alrighty, here we go. Frankly, this one could go either way, so taking all bets. Once again, it's going to be completely decided by... Oh, look at that. They have a little defensive... It's reminding me of, like, the... Why do they have those? Oh, I guess it's around this little camp up here, huh? And I guess the enemy army was deployed here. I just got used to various defensive things like palisades and then whatnot from historical Total War titles, and I got surprised seeing all that here. I mean, all that, it's not really all that much, but anyway. I mean, if they're gonna bother, like... This doesn't seem to be all that much. At least have some actual put some palisades around the camp itself, then these things out there and whatever. But maybe whoever is encamping here isn't trying very hard. And honestly, I can't tell whose camp this is supposed to be. Bretonnia? No. Whoa. That's an orc axe. Wait. I want to take a closer look at the map. That's an orc axe, isn't it? At least it looks like it, especially with that checkered pattern. What are the two-handed swords, though? They're not very good quality. They're well, not good quality. They're rusted or damaged or whatever. Anyway, in the meantime, the battle's starting. As I was trying to say, this will be completely decided by whether we are able to take down Jiao Ming or not. And the rest of the battle is pretty much same as usual, or same tactic types. Ooh, nice kick from Jiao Ming. As in, we send our flesh hounds and our flyers to tie up all the range units, preventing them from hurting our fragile units of bloodletters. I do have to wonder whether the Jade Warrior crossbows will be strong enough in melee to be able to fight the Furies or not, and I guess we'll have to see. But I'm sure they'll get torn apart. It does look like the Onyx Crewmen take a while to bring down the 41 melee defense and 40 armor, and they are fighting fairly well against the Fleshhounds. And by the looks of it, are a reasonably dangerous unit. Same thing is happening out here, though we did manage to peel away one of the units of Bloodletters, because fortunately the enemy has a very limited main line of Jade Warriors with shield, with sword and board, whatever, and thus we can hit the Jade Warrior crossbows here and help out against the Peasant Horses and the Onyx Crewmen as well. Of course, another key portion of the battle will be to actually chase down any units and make sure that we shatter them. We have to go for as much morale shock as possible, as Well, we have to deal at least a little bit of damage to Zhao Ming. I don't think we can get through as much HP as he has with what we have, so we're just going to have to try to get him off field, which means ignoring him for as long as possible. Granted, he doesn't make it easy because he's got splash damage on that dragon form and some boss animations, but also he's just constantly casting spells on our bloodletters. On the bright side, whether lucky or not, it does look like he wants to focus on the bloodletters in terms of casting, rather than focusing down the sort of more blobbed up units of Furies. He does, however, want to go for our Lord. That's the second time he brings the Blood Reaper down to, or Herald, whatever, down to about 30 to 40% HP. On the bright side, the 2 units of Jade Warriors are pretty much done. They are still holding, but just barely, and with a little HP remaining. Frankly, it's kind of impressive that these guys have not yet shattered. But a few more great swords to the face, and I'm sure they will go. I mean, I always forget how big the flesh hounds are. Aw, no, poor little doggo. How dare you? Kill them all. Oh, that's one way to endear Khorne to you, I guess. Just the Khornate faction in general with all the adorable doggo animations. Anyway, it looks like the main army is cleared out. Unfortunately, though, we're down to like 20% HP on most of our units, and every single one is below 50%, with the exception of that one unit of Furies, which I guess has spent too long chasing enemies around. So the question will be, will Zhao Ming in dragon form, plus all the fire breaths he can get off cooldown, be enough to deal with us? Will we be able to bring his HP down, or his morale shocking, or give him enough of a morale shock to force him to rout or shatter? I guess it means the same thing in this particular case. Love those sword animations. He's lost about 15% of his HP. It's not much considering how much damage we're taking here. We're going to send everything now, though. Regardless of the splash damage, we also can't have him attacking our Lord, because if the Herald dies, I fear that the rest of the army will follow suit. Alright, and okay, he's lost about 30% of his HP now. Still steady, if exhausted. Damn, how long is the dragon gonna stay in combat? He's getting attacked from every side. His army is destroyed. As in, we destroyed every single unit as it ran away. And so another cast and another attack. How we doing? He's up to 84 kills now, but he's getting closer to half HP, which hopefully is good. Certainly giving me memories of those rotting Leviathans. Although he's actually losing HP a little bit faster than the rotting Leviathans would, which is good for us, I guess. 83 armor. He's a little bit less armored than the rotting Leviathans are. And he's shaking now. Come on. You got this, Crimson Beasts. And, judging by the weird moves of the rest of our army, it does look like we do manage to pull it off. Everybody's badly hurt, but, well, this was necessary, and I'm very happy with this little army. Well done. Alright, there we go. I'm pleasantly surprised that that actually worked. In fact, very surprised that that worked. But at the end of the day, though he did massive damage to us, and though it was a little bit like bringing down one of those Leviathans, those rotting Leviathans, we got Zhao Ming as well. We will take the... I mean, I guess we technically don't need healing here. It's not a lot of money and it ain't a lot of skulls. Does it really matter? Probably not. 6% healing. Whatever. I don't even know what I clicked. I just got annoyed and then just pressed there generally. What do we have? So yeah, armor plus 5, this is why we want that defeat rate on Skulltaker as well. But more importantly, the Crimson Beasts have once again proved their worth. They've been doing really, they've been really good at that. You're gonna set sail again. As obviously, there's like full stacks running around, we can't deal with those. That should have reset Skulltaker's move once more. And this time, Khorne will reach him. So, Skulltaker, you're gonna go right there. We also want enough move remaining so that if we pop Khorne in here, we still have enough to hit up those high elves. Alright, there we go. Good doggo. Best boy is back. What else do we have here? We have 200. We can pop any ruins that are revealed in the shroud after defeating a lord. We care about that. Any skull piles across the world are moved to Skulltaker location. Oh, for 400. That ain't bad. Depending on how much skulls we can make. I don't really care about the any ruins revealed in Shroud so much. Any ruins in the local province are immediately colonized after defeating a lord. I guess the question is that even a good thing? Because, like, what if it's a bunch of ruins in a territory we don't want? Like, what if we teleport to the center of the empire? There's just too much territory that we don't want to deal with. That's all yellow. And yellow gives us plus 30% construction cost, even ignoring the construction time and all that. The income from buildings reduction doesn't really matter to Khorne, because Khorne reduction is so little that it's relatively minimal. But anyway, Skulltaker, you'll teleport in a second. Let's do a few other things. First of all, you three are going to go to Lillian over there. Actually, stay together so that you all don't die, because frankly, you've been heavily damaged already. Volnir Dell has moved. Half-Deer Nightbane. I guess you're going to move as well. And you're going to Ulthuan, sort of. I mean, you're going to Skulltaker, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we'll do that. Kuhar, I guess you're going to move as well. You're going to need to take the doggos and grab Karanak. So I guess all three of you are moving rather than recruiting. But we still need to be recruiting, i.e. Wolfric Hornbog. We now have access to Minotaurs of Khorne, as well as Slaughter Brutes. Oh, excitement, he wrote. Yeah, we'll start up on these. We have to make both armies at the same time. Essentially, the Blood Beast army and the... rank 5 or immediate rank 7. We lost a turn on this, but maybe it's not such a bad thing. Confederation, Bread and Bloodshed. We have 3 more turns left of this, eh? I think we'll start with the... Did I ever do the recruitment stance here? I did, okay. And you know what? Cancel these, because Skyla's army is going to be second. We'll do the Beastmen army first. So Minotaurs and Minotaurs will need, let's say, 4 of each, plus the Khorne Gores, plus the Blood Brute Behemoth. And then we'll switch to Blood Beast. I just have to remember to do that before the, get the construction started before the other stuff is needed. And as the Slaughter Brutes, I no longer remember where I was going to put those. Oh, right, I wanted to put 2 of these into the army of... how many turns do they take to globally recruit, out of curiosity? 3 turns? Oh, that's not so bad. If we have enough money, we should probably have somebody recruit them here.
First for battle.
Yes. Alright, and another thing that we probably want to do is we want to transfer your stuff to somebody. So, let's get a new Chaos Lord up and running. Doesn't really matter who. You're going to ascend to Demon Princehood, yes? Yes, and you should also still keep building the Khorne Gores. Keep building Khorne Gores. Like I said, I wanted 8 Khorne Gores. They are costing us 847 to recruit via... Now we're going to be using Global Recruit, so let's do that. Alright, and then you're going to transfer them. Alright, Khorne army is getting there. Beastmen army is getting there. All Khorne armies, at least for now. Blood Speaker, no. I'm going to say Herald. You're going to evolve anyway, so it doesn't really matter what trait you have. Pop you in here, Krullust. We'll transfer these, which would allow Skinnerat to return to Tlash Plan and recruit his flying army. That makes sense to me. Alright, that's good, though it did use up a lot of our cash. Hopefully we're about to get plenty of it back. Anybody else need to do anything before Skulltaker moves? Slaughterhouse. Oh, right, you guys. Alright, all of you, all of y'all, you're gonna go deal with Kairos. You're gonna help deal with Kairos. Hopefully you haven't... Hopefully you still have a little bit left in your tank. By the time you get there, I mean. Alright, and then you two. Real quick, so you need to win the battles, so we are going to have you attack, and then we're going to have the Crimson Legion reinforce, and then both of you move to Dawn's Light after. You still really use that materials at sea. Maybe I should send the Blood Hosts back to pirate work, but for now, we shall do this. Unresolve. Nice. And this place had furs. So we may want to occupy it. I mean, the rest of this stuff is kind of meh. We get 1,000 skulls. I think we'd take the furs. It's missile resistance, right? Occupy. And oh, it was only a tier 1. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered with that. Yeah, and it is missile resistance though. Ah, another Khorne mutant and another Rock of Inevitability. I gave the first Rock of Inevitability to Kuchar, but well, there are others. Monument of Rage. Not so sure that we want to necessarily upgrade all of this stuff here because there's a decent likelihood Kairos will be back and he could very well jump over here before we can react, but we'll see. Alright, anybody else other than Skulltaker? He's gonna move last. I just want to complete the admin. Gerald Black Raider with your army ready. Let's give Mercy here another Khorne mutant. Get that Scarby relationship up. And we got 2 more turns of the Confederation debuff. Alright, so you're headed to Cathay, so go through the sea line. And frankly, your Forsaken could also, and your Spawn could also use that Jiao Ming and Balthazar guilt buffs. More armor. Frankly, almost all of our armies could use those buffs, so yeah. We're gonna have to farm those guys a little bit. Well, to some degree. I mean, I'm not gonna go out of my way too much. Anyway, we are going to... Here are masters. We might actually want to land here. We might... Okay, wait. I don't know if this is gonna be possible, but... we have to declare war on all these guys anyway, so declare war on Tor Anlec. Because we can't land here because this is all cliffside, so we have to go through this direction anyway. But we can't move close enough to these guys to reinforce. What we might be able to do is this. Declare war on Tor Anlec. Yes. And I could be wrong, but then, well, if I'm wrong... Okay, wait. Continue siege. And then rather than continuing... Oh, okay. Break the siege. You have nowhere to run this way, so you're gonna run around this way. Perfect. Now, are you in range of reinforcing? Maybe. In range of reinforcing it. Alariel, you're here too. Man, that's a lot of skulls. Alright, then Skulltaker. I would like you to teleport. And we will start by teleporting to whoever's the cheapest. Save some of that essence. We could do Gilgallion, but oh, well, Than Lutlin can't run, so maybe Than Lutlin is the best choice here. So let's go for Than Lutlin. Like so. Teleport. And, oh, also, I did download at your guys' request that mod that will, that defeat trait maximum mod, because, yeah, obviously Skulltaker is probably the lord most likely to reach that, that level of traits, probably going to have to make use of it. Now, we do still have some Cloak of Skull stuff left over after teleporting. Any ruins revealed in Shroud, we could bump up his damage capabilities, or we could wait and grab one of these skulls at 400, which we are liable to reach soon. And then the 800 essence upgrades are all very, very strong. Especially the Skulltaker's army's replenish thing. Decent likelihood that we use that. Speaking of, we have that here, so we'll probably need it if we want to fight all these armies. Anything else we want to do? Well, we're going to ignore the building. There's probably a few heroes to move, but let's spread out the fight and then the admin. So, Skulltaker, start your engines. Go. Alright, then we'll get to have Karanak lead the doggos, because these are the doggos that are going to get transferred anyway, so kind of makes sense. Not a crazy army or anything. I do have a decent... It's actually a decent stack, it's just that they're in march stand, so it's going to screw them over. Die.
Khorne's chosen, the murder god's own sacred execution. Today, his eye is on you. Show him prowess.
Oh, I'm going to enjoy fighting on Ulthuan. I like all of the bright colors and stuff. Makes everything nice and visible. And no more dark maps, at least while we fight here. And Skulltaker heads forth by himself as he usually / always does. A couple of hits from him brings the enemy prince down to about half of his HP, while Skulltaker himself is more or less fine. The enemy also brings a great eagle down to play, who rapidly loses half of its HP as well. And well, they'll continue fighting, which is great for us. A few more swings from Skulltaker. There we go. He couldn't decide who to attack, and it looks like it's the eagle this time around. And which is going to take a hit, and it'll turn, it'll take another hit, and it'll go down. There we go, 4 hits to bring down the eagle. In the meantime, the rest of our army is slowly but surely approaching. Does take a little bit of time, as our bloodletters are relatively slow, but it's all good. We're going to have a little bit of a shootout with the enemy artillery as well, and once again, I'm very impressed with the Hellforged Bellowers. They seem to target artillery pieces, like not just the crew, but they actually target artillery pieces. And while every shot doesn't destroy them, this is shockingly accurate. They've already destroyed 2 of the artillery pieces and taking half of the HP of this Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower and this one. There are other artillery pieces that try to fire on artillery and that do absolutely nothing. Once again, Khorne with the artillery. Go figure. Anyway, Skulltaker trying to chase that prince down now, and the prince attempted to get away, but we'll lock him in place with our can't stop, don't go move. Blood God's shackles. And of course, behind the enemy army, we have our doggos getting ready to move in, and let's see, the prince will go down in 1 more hit by the looks of it. Or 2 more hits, whatever. Yeah, doggos are in the background. Khorne is sort of leading, was actually on the wing, but this will be its debut battle. Though I fear that it might not have too much to do. Wounded prey, melee defense -5, eh? I suppose we could have used Khorne to help Skulltaker, but it just wasn't necessary. Alright, and the enemy lord is done for, yes? In fact, the enemy lord was so weak that we didn't really even need to collect his skull. Okay, I'm somewhat joking in the sense that we did collect his skull, but the desync from the executioner appears to not allow you to do it, so whatever. He did die when I played it. Anyway, Khorne is in now, gonna get a few attacks, though not for long, as the rest of the army is completely surrounded and getting absolutely obliterated. The bloodletters run over the poor elven defenders, but this is just the start. It is Skulltaker versus Ulthuan today. So much of the strength of Ulthuan seems to be concentrated in this particular location on the map, and we should be able to deal a very heavy blow to the elves if we manage to destroy all of these armies. And that's why we're playing a little bit more carefully, and looking to preserve as much HP as possible, because we'll certainly need it. Anyway, Army 1 done, and very, very few losses. Engineer's knapsack. Okay, so I guess these things are actually, because I think we got one of these in the Ogre campaign as well, meaning, yeah, this is just one of those items that was added that was just, you know, available to everybody, but, I mean, the replenishes ammunition ain't the worst thing, frankly. With the Hellforged Bellowers in this army, we could definitely put this on somebody. I guess the question is going to be who. Depending on if we put another hero on this army. Anyway, the first enemy army obviously got obliterated, but we knew that was going to happen. That was always going to happen, because they were in march stance and they were by themselves. That was just the appetizer. I'm still using the ogre, the ogre words. Reap captives. You don't really need to heal, considering you barely got any losses. Take the skulls. We got bigger and better skulls. Well, maybe not bigger, but certainly better skulls to hunt down. Arena fighter. Skulls gained from kills plus 10. And there's that engineer's knapsack. Stacking settlements, lost icon, great icon of despair. I don't think there's anything here that we want to remove in favor of, yeah, replacing with that increase in skulls, which is a bit of a shame, considering that Skulltaker probably will get the most out of it, considering he's constantly fighting, teleporting, getting the biggest battles around. So he should really get more. Income from sacking settlements, skull totem. Enemy leadership reduction via the icon of despair. I guess the question is, do we really need this in Skulltaker's army? In his personal army? Do we need to reduce enemy leadership? I mean, I guess if he's fighting enemy demonic units, this is actually reasonably useful, but he probably also doesn't need the help as much as other forces might. Oh, the Icon of Endless War, which is currently on Skyla and should probably still be on Skyla, considering it gives him perfect vigor, assuming that we don't use the Great Icon of, wait, no, assuming we don't use the Skull Totem on him, which also gives him perfect vigor, but this feels better on the Blood Crushers. We could lose the Great Icon of Despair for now. Wait, no. The Icon of Endless War for now. Because Skyla's going to go into a different army anyway. Oh, we also have a Standard of Chaos Glory, which actually might be useful in this army. But anyway, for now, we'll deal with it later. I don't want to think about it. Let us get... I forgot what we got. Was it Firestarter? No. Income from raiding. Useless. Arena Fighter. Yes. Sigurd has that. The heck is Sigurd? Sigurd?
Yes,
I don't know no Sigurd. What?
I care deeply. I do.
Was it one of the Confederated guys? Oh, it was. You know what? Let's get you on the field just for a second, because he's not going to be useful anyway, because he's too low level. I just want to see... Okay. I wanted to see if he had any other ancillaries that he was toting around that might be useful to us, but alas, no. Alright, you're out, buddy. You're out. And Skulltaker, you're going to attack again in a second, as soon as we... see what else we have to do. So first, you are not last. Yeah, good job, Ruinous. You're going to go there, Cultist. You are heading across the sea, partly to send a, or set up a cult there for Skulltaker, but also I would like to see if there are any Kairos' armies that are essentially moving towards us. There could be a full stack heading towards us without us knowing, so it's better to head them off before they get there. You, new cultist, you're going to set up a cult in Athaloran, because it's funny. Just move on in, burn down the Oak of Ages, and kill all the Wood Elves, and then disappear. Scout. Move this way. You know what? Let's rename this scout to cultist. There we go. All right. Because he's not really scouting anymore. He's not looking for anybody. Crimson Legion, you two are fine. Arbaal, you're probably about to fight, but we're saving you for when we need to recover Skulltaker's movement. And that's about it. We technically might have some building, but I think I'd rather do what we're doing now and then deal with that after. Alright, Skulltaker, it's all you, buddy. You're up once more. Ooh, Khorne. Got a couple of points available to you. Alpha Hound will give us stock for the Flesh Hounds. That'll be real nice. Let's go Khorne's Howl, Alpha Hound, and then... Devastating Flanker, so campaign movement range plus 10 for accompanying Lord. Oh, that might actually be more useful than Bestial Chorus, which would give us the ability to summon more Flesh Hounds, but let's do this for now. Too good to say no to. Then we're going to attack Leia Quinn and hope that she doesn't run, but allows us to draw Tyrion into a fight. Like so. Oh, she does. Oh, lovely. Close victory. We have... Oh, wow. I didn't realize. 4 Sisters of Avalorn, Silver... This is a solid army. Tyrion's army is garbage by comparison. I guess this is his starting army, judging by the high-tier Phoenix and the Silver Helms. And, well, of course, Tyrion himself should be a decent fight. But, maybe I did that wrong. Maybe we should have attacked the weaker army first. Or, then again, maybe the stronger army. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Then we will destroy them. Go. Alrighty, here we go. I am excited for this. I think this battle should be pretty decently difficult, especially in comparison to the first little fight there. The enemy has a very solid stack as their first army, and then Tyrion will be leading reinforcements in himself. But this stack, I would be very happy with this stack if I had an Elven army myself. I mean, they've got a main line of Silver and Guard and Shriekin with a couple of damage dealers, i.e. the White Lions, and and the Rangers, their ranged line. We've got a bunch of Sisters of Avalorn, some Shadow Warriors, and a couple of artillery pieces as well, plus a smattering of artillery and chariots, and even a Great Eagle. And led by a mage, so they have access to magic on top of all of that. And of course, the magical damage of both the mage and the Sisters of Avalorn will be a threat to our bloodletters. Alright, first volley into the Skulltakers. Hopefully the trees block some of the shots, as these guys lose about 10% of their HP, actually a little bit more. Alright, well, we're bound to take some damage here, just gotta get on in there and cut the enemy down as fast as we can. And ooh, looks like the Hellforged Host is taking damage as well. Alright, close the distance with the enemy. At the very least, the Ranger should get obliterated rather quickly, and we should have enough armor-piercing damage to be able to deal with the Silver Guard decently well. That said, all of these melee units, whether they be Silver Guard or White Lions or whatever, don't concern us all that much. The real concern is, of course, the Sisters of Avalorn, and we're going to have to try to move towards them. Skyla Anfengrim is going to be the one to lead, and ooh, looks like a Skulltaker got a nice hit into the enemy Archmage, who's down to about 30% of her HP. Skyla's concept, though, was to move into the range pile of Shadow Warriors, Eagle Claws, Sisters of Avalorn, whatever, and use that fight for Khorne ability, or whatever it's called, that causes them all to rampage. And that really works out well, as that's at least a few units that aren't firing anymore. Alright, the rest of our army is, well, I wouldn't say overrunning the enemy. They are still holding. Can't be underestimating those staunch elven spears. And a Comet of Cassandora comes down. I think that heralds the arrival of Tyrion himself as he moves into reinforce, and his Mage of Heavens casts a Comet. That said, she cast it on the Blood Crushers, who have 84% spell resistance and are larger units, so they're not going to be particularly threatened by it. Tyrion himself will have a bit of a duel with Skulltaker by the looks of it, and can't be underestimating Tyrion's stats. They are better in some ways. Well, when the enemy's debuffed, we got it. The anti-healing should be really nice, but all of this, let's just say that their stats are relatively close or relatively even. But the issue is this. Skulltaker does fire damage, flaming attacks. Tyrion has 10% ward save and 65 fire resistance on top of all that. So Skulltaker will be doing a measly 25% of his damage because of it. And that's obviously a problem. I do like that this duel is somewhat in the dark, but we can see both of the glowing swords. What are we calling this? The Slayer Sword? Not the Slayer of Kings. Slayer Sword versus Sunfang. Anyway, those two are going to be trading blows for a long time. Skulltaker has a lot of healing. Tyrion takes very little damage because of his fire resistance. The rest of the enemy army, at least the first enemy army, however, is in terrible shape now, though the reinforcements are arriving in numbers. Ranged piles of units are trying to focus down the Hellforged Bellowers, who took a few hits from Tyrion, and now those range hits as well, so we're going to have to back those off. A few of our units are sort of sticking around, as a few of the enemies are unwilling to shatter as yet, namely the Treekin and the Sisters of Avalorn fighting together. And magical damage from both as well, as the tree spirits are doing magical damage. Got to try our best to charge into those massive piles of range units, and so we've got reinforcements trying to loop around the flanks. Alright, get those Blood Crushers in there as fast as possible. And charge on in. Alrighty, and obviously we have reinforcements that have arrived. Unfortunately, this particular Blood Host has an absolute ton of fast movers. That's a lot of doggos and Blood Crushers moving together. Kukar would enjoy that. Just the lack of motorcycles. Alright, I do like the different color scheme on the other army, obviously being an Eatainian army rather than an Avalornian army. And that said, their main line is, by the looks of it, quickly heading to collapse. Tyrion's lost about 70% of his HP, while Skulltaker's lost, let's say, well, no, Tyrion has lost 25% of his HP, whatever. Skulltaker's close to half HP, now he's down to half HP, and has reached his healing cap as well. Once again, that fire damage is really not working for us, and by the looks of it, we won't be able to take these guys' skull. At least, not by ourselves. There's also a Flame Spire Phoenix in the midst of all this. If I could just game, please. If I can select the Flame Spire Phoenix, which has 40% fire resistance, and so it's taking quite a while to dish out the damage to it. A Comet of Cassandora seems to drop directly upon Skulltaker as he continues the duel with Tyrion, but the balance of power has shifted to about 70% in our favor. Just got to get to these piles of range units, which are still providing support, even as all of their melee units are run down and destroyed. Alright, Khorne summons a few doggos on the field, and it looks like Khorne has now joined Skyla and Skulltaker. All of our heroes are working to bring Tyrion down, and man, Tyrion is an absolute monster. Gotta give credit where it's due. Considering just how long he is sticking around, but it looks like at last, at the very least, with his army shattered, Tyrion will break as well. Oh, actually, his army is not shattered. I lied, but Tyrion is shattered, or routing. Can he get away? 98 speed? 105 speed? Looks like Skulltaker is very slightly faster than him. Somebody best be executing him. And we can stop him in his tracks so that you can't escape from Khorne thing. There we go. Surrounded and destroyed. I had never seen that animation before. That's pretty neat. I like that it keeps going even after he's dead. Damn, it took 3 legends to bring down Tyrion. If we have to fight him again, I gotta remember to take off that Banner of Eternal Flame, as that is really what was screwing us over. Because he's a Bloodletter, Skulltaker has automatic flaming attacks, but that doesn't necessarily mean everything in this army does. And we wouldn't necessarily want to apply those flaming attacks to everything. At least in this particular situation. And the same thing would be true if we were fighting the Chaos Dwarfs with their massive fire resistance, though we're not really looking to fight them so much as we are looking to vassalize them. Not so much the High Elves, however, as it looks like the Second Army will at last shatter, and the battle will be ours. We see that we've taken a fair bit of damage in a bunch of units, half HP, there's a few more half HPs in there, but it's looking pretty okay. And by the looks of it, even after all of this, we can go on. There's many more battles to be had, or many more elven armies to cast down, after all. Ah, there's that recruitment money we were looking for. Certainly got that, and ooh, lots of skulls as well. We're gonna need that. Otherwise, an interesting fight. We certainly did take a fairly decent bit of damage on a lot of our units, just didn't lose a lot of models, which preserved most of our bloodletters. Skulltaker really struggled against Tyrion, and we really had no way to hurt him or bring him down. Now, once again, the problem with Tyrion here is not his regeneration and whatnot, because our execution and our anti-healing undoes that, but the fact that he has ward save on top of 65% fire resistance. And frankly, pretty much our entire army does fire, and I guess the Banner of Eternal Flame ain't helping. So yeah, damn, that fire resistance. I've encountered that issue before against other, well, when using other fire units against things like phoenixes and stuff, basically stuff that's basically immune to fire. So yeah, very dangerous, very dangerous. On the bright side though, we did manage to pull it off and we got plenty of rewards. I'd be tempted to heal, but I think we're okay. Reap captives for the money, for the skulls. You gotta spend skulls to make money, sometimes. You are going to escape. Ooh, if you could draw these guys out of the Shrine of Cain, well, that would be lovely. Alright, melee attack +2, recruit rank +1 for defeating Tyrion as well. Chaos War Shrine on Wolfric Hornborg. I don't know who that is, but it must be one of the new guys. Still racking up that XP, though it looks like the Terror Masters can no longer move. Skulltaker's still pretty okay. wondering whether we should just occupy the Shrine of Cain. I feel like since we did this, they're probably not going to draw the sword. And shouldn't the Slayer sword be superior anyway? Obviously not in game, because it would like double the damage of a Skulltaker. Or we just leave it alone. I'll think about it. For now, we'll ignore it and fight. And you guys let me know what you think about the Shrine of Cain. Because the problem is this. They still have to get over here to draw the sword. I mean, obviously we could just raise a bunch of stuff and not occupy, but the problem will be, is the AI actually programmed to draw the sword, or to actually book it over here to draw the sword? And I'm not sure that it is. I'm not sure that it is. I got a lot of movement range. I still want to get up here to deal with Alariel. But I think we should do that on the way back. What's the best way to do this? Jump here, then jump to Exarian, then jump back this way. See if we can't move. And we can always replenish. Oh wow, she's up to 294. Damn, that's a lot of essence. We're up to nearly 400. Though I think still going to ignore what we have here. Yeah, none of this would have really helped against Tyrion. And there's no way to turn off the... Does anybody in the army not have flaming attacks? Karanak and Skyla don't, but they do if they're near the banner of Eternal Flame. But I guess really Tyrion is the main issue there. Maybe we should just lose that thing, but anyway. I guess it's another fight. We could probably do a little building. Oh, look at all that. I was looking at the cultist stuff. Wait, we moved everybody else, right? Nobody else needs to recruit? Okay, you're good for the 2 turns. I mean, since we have the cash, we should probably put it in somewhat towards recruiting. Yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I guess the rest of the stuff doesn't need to be done this turn. We do have the money to do some global recruitment, but we'll be doing it via... most likely Arbaal. So once again, we don't need to do anything about that. Planet Dogs. We can upgrade the trophy rags here, I guess. It's just that there's a decent likelihood these guys go for it. Let's upgrade a few of the cheaper things. And just once again, mix it up. This place is relatively safe. 6,000 gold for another one of these post-battle loot. I wonder what our faction... Can we see what our faction-wide post-battle loot buffs are at this point? No? I'd really like to know what the plus percentage is. Wait, if we take a look at any individual lord, like say Skulltaker, and then we take a look at his post-battle loot battle effects... Post-battle loot a battle effect or a non-battle effect? A lot of leadership bonuses. I don't see it. Income from sacking, income from all buildings, income from post-battle loot 15%, but that's just from call to bloodletting. I want to know what the other bonuses are. Well, whatever. You know, just keep fighting, screw it. You, go after Khorne and draw out the units at the Shrine of Cain. Maybe we want to level Karanak a little bit. Oh, wow, Karanak got hurt. A Gore Feast for Best Doggo. And Bestial Chorus. Endless Hunter gives us and reveals unit hex, which I guess is fine. Let's get Talon of the Skull Throne. Immunity to contact effects and Perfect Vigor. What else do we have here? Cooldown to Prey of the Blood God. Let's do... We could do scouting for this fight. You know what? Let's do scouting just so we rack up a little bit more in the way of items picked up. We haven't been stealing all the items that the elves have, and the elves do have a tendency to have a lot of items. Anyway, go for Khorne now. Yes.
Skulls piled here.
More essence, please. Decisive victory. Oh. To be honest, I know it's Alistar, but we're not going to destroy the faction right now, so we'll probably see him again. And the thing is, this is kind of weak. It's just spears and archers. Basic archers, light armor. They have no chance out of resolve. Let them go. Alright, and we will take the replenishment. Though once again, we do have super replenishment available, should we need to use it. Yeah, we'll probably auto-resolve a couple more times. Reap captives, devour captives. Alright, do that. I don't believe Alistar offers any kind of traits, so we will then jump to Exarian, and then back around to Gilgallion. Presumably. Unresolve. And... doesn't matter. Alright. Other Trickster Shard. Then to Gilgallion. I fear Gilgallion will run. I should still, or the other option would be to go here, razor sack this, and then jump back to Gilgallion on the way here towards Elysia. Oh,
Beyond even
these guys. Huh. That's not great. This is Nakari's last settlement. We wanted his head. Granted, he might not be worthy, but it's a little bit concerning. If we go here and reset, we should still be able to attack Alariel. And by reset, okay, fine. Go here as close to Alariel as possible. And go back into regular stance. I hope that you can. I hope I don't screw this up. Do we even risk it? Let's risk it. I'm hoping that we can go here and then back here and then all the way to here before Elysia falls so that we get the kill. Okay, now we can't do anything about that, unfortunately. What else can we do? I did want to get first into Skulltaker's army as well, but it looks like we won't be able to do that right now. Oh, wow, we're nearly maxed out with the allegiance. Anyway, getting distracted again. Let's see if there's anything else we can or need to do, but I think it's time for some Arbaal fighting. And I'm just gonna hope that we can reset the movement range, because if we can't, I'm pretty sure the Seducers of Slaanesh are dead. I mean, I'm almost sure they're dead either way, but we should probably still look into it. Yeah, alright. Arbaal, it's time for you, sir. Well, let's declare war on Archaon. Yeah. Well, let's get your call to bloodletting, I guess, for the fight, getting a little bit more of that cash before we jump on in. And I think otherwise you're good. So, we're going to declare war on you. I assume that the war host of the apocalypse will join us. They didn't. They're too afraid of us. That's kind of hilarious. They're probably not too happy about this, though. I'm not that unhappy about it. Arbaal, head to the monolith of Bubonicus. Ooh, sack value is high, but we might want to occupy it in case we can trade it to these guys for vassalization, if we want to vassalize them. Or we just send Skulltaker to kill Archaon, and go to monolith. I want to see those soul grinders in action. Pyrrhic victory, you say? I have my doubts. You have magical damage already. Let's pop the Lichbone Pennant on one of the Chosen of Khorne. You know what? Wait. I'm gonna do one more thing before we jump on it, since there hasn't been any admin and I wanted to spread it out. This is a good opportunity too. Where are these guys? Half-Deer Nightband, start with you. So, Exalted Bloodletters. Okay, there we go. Blades of Cinder. 1. And Phlebotomists and little Skulltakers. I'm reasonably sure we get to keep most of these guys. Zool Executioners. Just barely fits too. And what else do we have here? The Blood Boilers. The Blood Drinkers. I know a lot of you have been waiting for names. You gave me a ton of Skull Cannon names. We just got Skull Cannons, so I can't do much about that. And Bloodfire Slaughterers. Alright, that's all of these guys. Let's do a few more names while we're here. You. The Blood Angels. Khorne Gores, do we have any on the field? There we go. Let's start. The Bloody Horns. Okay, we do have a couple of Skull Cannons that we got for in Arbaal's army, right? So we can name these two at least. Right? Yes. Alright, so let's name a couple of the Skull Cannons. Alright, Skull Duggery. And how about Husk chuckers. I'm just now wondering... I mean, I do also have names for blood shrines, but I feel like we probably won't have any blood shrines, in the sense that we can just use blood reapers instead of blood shrines. There isn't really any sense in doing that, so yeah. Anyway, blood beasts. Let's name at least one of you. We already have one named blood beast unit, and I thought I had a blood beast name somewhere. I've very poorly organized this. Oh, you know what? The Crimson Beasts, yes? This wasn't on the list. I just wanted to commemorate these guys doing a good job against the against Zhao Ming here. They did well, and they deserve some accolades. Let us do. Arbaal, you have, I believe, one unit of Chosen of Khorne with shields. Let's do Markers of Bloody Sacrifice. Won't fit. Yeah, that's not gonna fit the. Let's just do Markers of Sacrifice. Character limit. Etc. And okay, I think that's good enough for now. Let's do another fight. Go, Arbaal.
His eye is ever upon me. Would you draw it to yourselves? If so, be worthy.
All righty. I'm laughing at the way the a little coordinate throne shakes as Arbaal heads into the battle. Though, okay, you gotta admit, I mean, this is probably not quite as irritating as it would be to ride a Frostworm, as we saw in the recent Kislev campaign, as riding that Frostworm was just... It's not a euphemism, incidentally. Riding that Frostworm just looked insanely nauseating and vomit-inducing for Tsarina Katrin. And I feel like the Fleshhound is relatively close, especially if you look at the sort of Khorne symbol-backed throne. Anyway, Arbaal the Undefeated can't be letting Skulltaker have all the fun, so we're gonna get on in there as soon as we can. Loving those horns, buddy. Should have some more headbutt animations. Anyway, this is also the first that we'll have to see of the Soul Grinders of Khorne. And there we go, they're gonna fire those cannons, and the Skull Cannons are gonna fire their cannons. We'll see how much we can annoy the enemy before they charge on in. Been waiting to get those Soul Grinders on the field because, well, they look pretty neat, unit-wise. There you go, honestly, get you a nice shot, and these guys fire like a little spread shot. I think it's 3 projectiles by the looks of it. Didn't kill too many units, but it was being fired at a Marauder Horseman unit, so that's somewhat to be expected. Enemies are not charging the Soul Grinders or the Skull Cannons as yet. Every time I say blood or skull at the start of a unit, I have to think, is it Skull Cannon, is it Skull Crusher, is it Skull Reaper, etc. And the same thing with blood. Probably even more so. Anyway, looks like the enemy army is somewhat annoyed. They will continue taking shots, though by the looks of it, we haven't done a crazy amount of damage so far. Frankly, the Soul Grinders range fire is a little bit lackluster, but that's fine. I mean, it's Khorne. And there we go. Here come the Chosen of Khorne, the Dual Axe Chosen as well. They should be able to mince those Marauders very, very nicely. And of course, as the main line holders, we have the Shielded Chosen as well. I imagine that Arbaal should have a very Chosen-focused army for his undefeated host, undefeatable host, whatever. Wait, it's Unbreakable Host. I don't know, whatever the name of the this capstone of his ability that gives everybody Unbreakable. I think it's Unbreakable Host. Anyway, out here having a little bit more trouble as the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with halberds are suffering a little bit against the Marauders with great weapons, which is kind of interesting considering their stats are kind of meh, but I guess other than the armor, the regular Chaos Warriors stats aren't anything crazy either. At least the halberdier variants. And so it does make sense. Out here we have our skull cannons and our soul grinders now engaged, and yes, it would be better to use the units together, but I wanted to give a chance for both the soul grinders and the chosen all to shine on different parts of the map, so may as well do it like this. There we go. Soul grinders look like they're having a lot of fun. And you can imagine just how often this sort of thing happens in the Chaos Wastes, just like piles of Chaos Warriors and Norskins and all clashing. None of the civilized war factions or the Shield of Civilization know what's going on over there. And it's just constant war and bloodshed. And the constant war and bloodshed continues in this particular battle so far, though the balance of power has shifted to about 80% in our favor, trying to use our flesh hounds to chase down all the enemy fast movers, while our other units continue to clash in melee. Khorne Gors managed to reach the fight and charge into the enemy back lines. Didn't get to see them too much because I was too busy watching the soul grinders and stuff, but we'll be seeing plenty more Khorne Gors. And we got the Forsaken as well. Both Khorne Gors and Forsaken are having their own armies, which will be getting into combat relatively soon, so we should be good. But let's see a little bit of action from the Forsaken. Forsaken very low on melee defense, but they have high armor at 110. 17 melee defense. So we'll see how well they do here. Alright, this is not meant to be. Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't. I think Khorne ordains it. Way too many skulls running around here still attached to their spines. Anyway, by the looks of it, with that, the enemy army shattered. Didn't get too much playtime with Arbaal himself in this particular battle, but mostly because the enemy lord ran into a blob of units, and Arbaal kind of just followed him in there, and thus we're just going to have to wait for another fight. Not to worry, he is just started, so he'll have plenty to go off of. Huh. Did he have the flag up before, or is that when he, huh? Was that there before? Or maybe it wasn't, I just missed it. I don't know how I missed that flag when it's so big. Anyway, enjoying the soul grinders and all that sort of stuff, and we'll see plenty more as we go. Alright, very nice indeed. Not as much favor perhaps as Skulltaker fighting, but, well, still decent enough in amount, and a little bit of XP as well. Now, in terms of how we did, our Chosen with shields held the line, and our Chosen with dual axes killed the line, doing fairly well. Decently impressed with the work of the Khorne Gors as well, who did admittedly hit the enemy in the back, but they got plenty of kills, and, Forsaken almost to pace with the Chosen. Good job to them. And they're kind of fighting by themselves as well, but makes me more excited to see the Forsaken army in action. And these Soul Grinders were just fine. Their damage wasn't anything crazy, but well, they served their purpose, let's say. And these Skull Cannons, as always, do well. Arbaal hunted down the enemy lord, and he does have that nice explosion ability, which allows him to move through enemy lines should he get stuck like Skulltaker does. So, good for him. Though, unlike Skulltaker, he doesn't have any way to stop the enemy from running away from him, which would be nice. But you can't have it all. Anyway, we are not going to sack it, as incredibly tempted as I am. We're going to occupy it because I'm curious. Norscan Marauder income for post-battle loot plus 10%. That's nice. Does Skulltaker have one of these? He does not. Is that another thing we need to give him now? We just don't have as much. We could lose the banner of Eternal Flame. The thing is, it is good against a lot of stuff, it's just not... Maybe the skulls gained from kills aren't as important? It could be pretty considerable, though. We've definitely had Skulltaker get a lot of skulls in the past before, and sack for a lot of cash value as well. I don't want to lose the Skull Totem. I guess we lose the Greater Icon of Despair, although maybe we'll put it back, but for now, this guy, Norscan Marauder. Win a battle against a Norscan army. Ooh, that does mean we should probably try to win a few more battles against Norscan armies. And alright, Skulltaker, your movement range has replenished and you will be able to reach Alariel the Radiant, who, after that battle, is now only worth 98 Champion's Essence. How does it do that? It's buggy, right? Am I crazy, or is it kind of buggy? But anyway, we're not new to bugs. Arbaal is the important thing right now. Let me just go to him. Alright, Arbaal. So, two things for you, buddy. First of all, if we were to trade the monolith of Bubonicus to these guys, actually monolith of Festralong would probably be better, but just out of curiosity. Monolith of Bubonicus, yeah, we could immediately vassalize them, should we desire to do so. And the question is, do we? Or should we just destroy Archaon instead of vassalizing him? On the one hand, he's not, well, he's not with any god in particular, so he doesn't bother us in that sense. The bad thing about the Warriors of Chaos is you can't really get anything useful out of them in terms of outpost units. They're relatively useless because of the sort of upgrade system that they have, meaning their territories aren't actually building the units that they have, meaning you can't, yeah. And we could vassalize Valkia. You know what, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Once again, I'm gonna leave it up to a vote. Do we vassalize or do we destroy Archaon, the Ever-Chosen? I mean, sure, for now it is something for Arbaal to do. On the other hand, we still haven't burned down the Empire, so there's still that. And on the other hand, you have to go this way. There's Tamarkan around here. I see Grimgor out here, though that's a nice trait for Skulltaker. I suppose Archaon is also a nice trait for Skulltaker, although he's not anywhere near us right now. I don't know. I could go either way, but I'm not going to do so right now. Right now, what we're going to do is, do we want to attack Alariel? Another Phoenix, that fire resistance. Does Alariel fire resistance? She does not. Okay, so she will get completely screwed over by Skulltaker attacking her. We are still damaged, and we could assault the place while damaged, or we could pop the Unholy Manifestation, which I think we probably should. Wait, not Unholy Manifestation. We could pop the the Wordless Edict. Yep. A lot of skulls, but we're at full HP, and I mean, assaulting the Phoenix Gate would be otherwise, well, it's not inadvisable, but we'd possibly lose some stuff. Karanak, you've leveled up again. Good boy. We're going to cause terror. Oh, enemy leadership in local region. Stack more of that. We just took away the leadership icon thing. Anyway, immunity to contact effects, very, very nice. We'll take that, and I guess we'll go into Endless Hunter as well. Alright, one more fight. I know we're going long this episode, but, well, we just got to Ulthuan. I'm having a lot of fun. So, Phoenix Gate. Pyrrhic Victory, yeah, that's why we wanted to, replenish. Go again. Alright, here we go. Idyllic landscape around this gate. But it'll soon be covered in blood. Skulltaker did take a fair few hits from the range attacks, but let's see, he's got 31 missile resistance and 55% physical. I guess he's lucky he didn't get hit by the Sisters of Avalorn. Does he have no ward save whatsoever? Huh, he has no ward save whatsoever, surprising. Part of it is because we're using the Bloody Shackle healing item rather than a Talisman of Preservation, though perhaps that warrants switching out the thing. I'll think about it. Anyway, it does look like the enemy actually sallies out with a couple of its flyers, sending them to chase down the Hellforged Bellowers while we try to work on that gate. We're gonna have to send Karanak and Skyla to deal with the two flyers, and especially since we don't want the Banner of Eternal Flame toting Skulltaker. to confer his fire attacks and thus make it more difficult to kill the Phoenix. Khorne and Skyla should be able to handle it just fine. Alright, now it looks like the Eagle is out of there, and the Flamespire Phoenix is having a pretty bad time of all this. The enemy gate is down to about, let's see, 1000 HP, 600 HP, it's nearly there, and another Eagle has closed the distance, but Skulltaker can deal with it. It's not a Phoenix, and it'll go down very, very quickly as it doesn't have that resistance to fire. Alright. Down goes Eagle 2 or Eagle 3 or whichever Eagle that was, and it looks like there's another one, but it won't be there for long either as it rapidly loses HP as well. And I'm hoping that this isn't a desync. Everybody head on in. We got fighting to do. The Phoenix is back though, I'd wager. Probably not for long either. Anyway, here we go. Gonna enter the enemy settlement with all of our single entities first. We broke down the gate, and that means the rest of our army can start moving in. But we can sort of open up the breach a little bit while they do. Especially the Bloodletters, they're gonna take a long, long time to walk here since they had to be deployed out of the range of the towers. Looks like some Silver Helms combined with Spears and with Shuriken are going to try to hold us back. Probably a reasonably effective proposition, as that's a lot of units. Khorne does have his Flesh Hand summoning ability as well, so that should help out a little bit. Plus all the Blood Reapers in here should be dishing out reasonable damage on those Blood Thrones of theirs. So we've got 79 melee attack on the Brass side without any buffs, so that's pretty solid. Lots of spin to wins in their future as we continue fighting around this breach. I guess the AI is smart to sort of have a bunch of units here, though, as it will make it a little bit more difficult to reach the enemy. And here we go, our Blood Crushers are moving in, though they are getting hit by the enemy towers, and, well, not too much damage as yet, but I'm sure it'll climb. And is that Alarielle herself? It does look like she has made it to fight into the blob. All those animations from Skyla jumping around, causing all that splash damage, and that's once again why we gave him the chainsword. He's much more likely to dish out lots of splash damage and rack up lots of kills. Alright, I think Alarielle is in there somewhere, but honestly it's kind of hard to tell what the heck is going on. She's down to about half HP. Skulltaker continues trying to force his way through the enemy army in order to get to her, but once again, the mass problem. Fortunately, with Khorne and with Skyla in there, we should be pretty okay. And here come the first of our fast movers, the Blood Beasts and the Skull Cannon, together with those Blood Crushers. Make their way into the enemy settlement and start attacking whatever units they can reach. The single entities are still fighting the big old blob of units. And Alarielle is still in the fight, and we should try to knock her out as fast as we can so that we can get rid of that darn healing that she outputs. The Treekin are really working for her for blocking off all of those units. But by the looks of it, Skulltaker will at last execute her. And in the meantime, the Flesh Hands and the Bloodletters have finally made it a little bit closer. The Brutes of Ferocity are starting to take damage and are down to about half HP, so we'll have to be a little bit careful with them. But it does make sense because we charge these guys through as many units as possible to try to tie up all those ranged units. Can't be having them support the enemy in the same way that Tyrion's second army was allowed to in his fight. So that'll have to be a priority. In the meantime, it looks like our single entities have by and large cleared this breach. A pretty bloody fight for the command squad, and they'll be heading in to help these guys out, especially with the Blood Beasts and the Blood Crushers fairly heavily damaged here. But they're still fighting, and that's all that counts. Skyla Anfengrim will move in shortly and then be able to hopefully apply his rampage-causing explosion. And we're probably going to have to back off the most damaged units as well, just so that they survive. But the fight continues. Alright, the rest of our units still trying to make their way for it. Explosion is here. Okay, that's a desync. That didn't happen. Skyla was supposed to pop his explosion off right there, but not a big deal, I hope. Since it's a big old siege, we were bound to get a desync. We did get that desync against Abyssa earlier, after all. Anyway, we're gonna move the hurt units away still. I guess they similarly got hurt in the desynced version of this battle as they got hurt in the main one. But by the looks of it, the battle is moving to be ours. Transpire's at about 80-85%. Still a little bit of a ways to go, but we're certainly getting there. And perhaps I lied, as the enemy army is starting to look like it's breaking. I guess what's happening is that with the enemy melee units crushed, only the ranged units will shortly remain. And then they probably won't be willing to fight. And there we go, our motorcycles are all forward now. Together with the big boys, there's Skulltaker and the Skyla just moving through those Lothran Sea Garden spears. And the doggos are bringing up the rear while we leave behind the blood beasts and the blood crushers, as they need to maintain as much HP and unit numbers or model numbers as possible. And so they're just cleaning up whatever other units remain in the back there. And I suppose whatever units are rallied. Anyway, by the looks of it, the enemy army is in the process of shattering and routing, and there we go. The battle for this gate is ours. Nice that we were able to take it. Not all the bloodletters even had the chance to get in as they were going in one by one slowly through the gate. It is unfortunate that we have no easy way to breach a wall, or even surprising that we have no easy way to breach a wall with what we have. I suppose if we really wanted to, we could put like a slaughter brood in here and use it as a living battering ram to take it with us. I will consider it, just to be able to open up breaches in walls, especially since Khorne, for whatever reason, doesn't have any way to cast walls down, and I really, once again, feel like he should have an ability. Ogres get their Stone Crusher or Earth Shatter, and all the Warriors of Chaos, including Valkia, can get that Stone Shatter, Wall Breaker, whatever ability to instantly destroy a wall. Khorne, the guy that likes to fight in melee, doesn't want to break open a gate or tear down a wall so that everybody can go into melee. Seems a bit strange to me, but anyway. Close victory. Yeah, we took damage, but a great fight. And the Everqueen will follow the Defender of Ulthuan. I guess not into the grave. We'll probably see them both again before long, but for this episode at least. Alright, very nice, very nice. So that time I think that if we hadn't used that healing on the army, we would have probably taken pretty severe losses, as we were fairly heavily damaged there. It was indeed a close victory, just once again we managed to preserve a lot of our models while the unit's HP dropped. In terms of damage, we got very good work out of our two Blood Reapers, those shrines doing good. Skulltaker usually does get less damage and less kills, but he's a single entity killer, so it makes sense. Skyla did pretty good, 163 kills and nearly 30k damage. And what do we have here for the dog? Well, the doggos entered the fray a little bit late, but it looks like the Bloodhound Tides won the day there, and the Brutes of Ferocity still doing very good. They've got their own army coming shortly. Anyway, Alariel has fallen, both Lariel and Tyrion in one episode, I guess, by Khorne. Perhaps a red wedding, yes. Anyway, we are going to... Man, 3.7k skulls. It's tempting, I admit, but I think we have to blood for the Blood God here and raise a Blood Host. Alright, Never Queen, I don't really care. It's a terrible defeat trait for a Skulltaker, but fortunately with the mod up and running, we now don't have to worry so much about it. I don't know whether Gilgallion can run or not. Juggernaut, Hexa Slaughter Call. Good for Hexa Slaughter Call, whoever that is. Go here. I just want to see if he runs. If he doesn't, we might still be able to bounce between him and Sephirodrin and preserve... he does run. And... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You're gonna run around like that? Man... Well, that's a shame. And I assume that there are no other movable lords this turn to do anything else, in the sense that that is where we will get stuck. Unfortunately, I think that means Nikari will die, but I don't think that there's anything we can do about that. Either way, we're out of time, so I'm going to call the episode here. Yeah, this definitely went long, but I kept having fun. It does tend to happen on occasion. The other armies are moving towards Ulthuan to start on raising the place from this side. I once again don't know whether or how much of it we're going to keep. Probably not a lot. You guys let me know what you think about the Shrine of Cain. Once again, I did want it, but I wanted them to draw the Sword of Cain so we could steal it. I just kind of don't see it happening anymore. I feel like they'll never get over here. Now that we've landed on Ulthuan, even once Skulltaker teleports away in 5 turns to, you know, cause havoc wherever else he's gonna go, like Athaloran or wherever, the other armies will probably be able to handle this just fine. Though we do have to watch out, because these guys probably have a couple of stacks heading our way here, and we'll need to react to that by sending these guys their way, which is what that army, well, one of the things that army will be good for. Anyway, calling it here. Let me know about the Shrine of Cain thing. Let me know your thoughts, or actually vote down below for whether we can or vassalize or destroy Archaon. Probably won't make too much of a difference either way, but, well, just because it's amusing or not. Or do we just leave Arbaal to deal with him? Stay tuned for more Skulltaker. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.